The one who was called by God should remain in the station that he was called in. This is something I read today in Paul. Well, I say Paul, I mean the Bible, the New Testament. You know, which one is it? Corinthians, I think. He's talking about how when you have been called to serve God, all these cars are making so much noise. So now I have to shout very loud so you can hear me. Okay, but yeah, if you've been called to serve God and you're single, okay, because I was called to serve God and I was single. I've been single my whole life. And it's not because I couldn't get women or get girls. It wasn't because of that. It's not like I was swimming in them either. No. I was not swimming in them. But it's not like I didn't have opportunities and, you know, women didn't come my way. I just felt like there was something greater for me to be going after, and I didn't see spending time with a woman or a girl, let's say, a few years ago, as being the penultimate thing in my life. But that being said, I thought so. I definitely did think that was the case, and I thought I should, because that's what my society was telling me, wasn't it? See, society, God, it makes so much noise. I need to be a bit stoic now. Practice a bit of stoicism. Practice some serenity, some CBT, self-applied CBT. Oh, God. All right, so yeah. You know, the society will definitely make it so, or seem so, that this is the thing, man. You've got to pursue it. You've got to pursue these things of the world. You know, the normal kind of stations, if you will. You know, a job, get a certain kind of job, get a certain kind of career, get a certain kind of house, get a certain kind of wife, get a certain kind of life. Many men will tell you past a certain age that divorce is something that happens quite regularly, but I think there's a reason for that. I don't think that's necessarily the case where if you just get married, you're gonna be divorced. I think that's stupid. I think if there's two, like God created man and woman, that's all I need to say. God created man and woman, which means it's better if men and women get married. It's probably better. Like, if you were created that way, I think it's probably best that you do. And maybe that's a good goal to have, to get married. Now you might say, well, I can't. The red pillars have told me not to make women my purpose. Of course not. God's your purpose. You know? God's your purpose, mate. Like, God and serving God. If you read the Bible, Quran, Torah, whatever book you read, serving God is your purpose. How do you serve God? You make God your 100% effort. Oh, that came out wrong. You make God your 100% focus. You don't focus on anything else other than God, right? You got to do that. And how do you do that? Seek his presence. How do you do that? Seek his presence. Like, literally, in every single moment, seek God. Put your heart, mind, soul, and everything in seeking God. Seek God. Put your efforts into it. I've actually changed my whole mentality when it comes to the gym now. I don't even go to the gym anymore to be physically strong. I actually go to the gym to make my body stronger, so that when I pray, I'm able to exert myself more. That's how my brain works now. I've changed my martial arts routine a bit now. I've kind of moved a little bit away from boxing. Even though I like boxing, I think it's a bit haram. I think it's a bit satanic, because it can lead for me to get a bit evil. You know, you're hitting people's faces. It's a bit inhumane, in my opinion. It is an inhumane sport. Don't get me wrong. It is inhumane. And the temptation to continue doing boxing is definitely there, of course. But I've decided to move a little bit away, just a little bit, and focus more on the grappling, because I find that in terms of self-defense and in terms of taking care of myself, grappling can be very useful. Grappling can be very, very important. And plus, it's just a full body way of being stronger in general. And if anything, grappling is a nice little synonym of how our life or wrestling with God kind of works. Because that's basically what we're doing, aren't we? Wrestling with God all the time. So, you know, happy wife, happy life. Do you get married? I think it's a good goal to have, personally. As long as you don't start serving your lusts through the wife. Because if you think that by getting married, the only reason you're getting married is to serve your lusts, you know, you're going to be a pretty shit husband, in my opinion. And I don't want to be a shit husband, personally. I'd like to be a good one. It's very important station of responsibility to be a husband. Like, it's really, really important, man. It's really hard to be a good husband. So that's like my mind. It says, you know, it's hard to be a good husband. So, you know, let's take this a little bit slower. But it's an important position of responsibility, just like being a father is an important position of responsibility. Do we rush into these things? I don't think it's good to rush into them. But when should you get married? When should one get married? I think you should get married when you feel that you're ready to get married. You might not even have a cent in your bank account. I don't know how you're going to sell yourself to the dad, but you know, you should get married when you feel you are ready to take on that responsibility of leadership. You know, girls come my way, you know, attracted my attention, got my eye in an authentic way, like not in a PUA way, like, you know, I've gone and got her number. Like, no, she's just caught my eye. She's someone I see. She's at a bookstore, and you know, she's really kind of got me in a bit of a shape. I've really started thinking about her, and I've had like a few conversations with her. You know, there's a nice vibe or whatever, but you know, I don't know anything too much more about that. And you know, I've kind of like been asking people around me, you know, should I ask her out? Should I date? You know, I'm a religious man. I'm a man of God. I like to pretend to be anyway. But I'm, you know, read the Christian book. I've read the Bible. I've read the Quran, or I'm reading the Quran. And you know, I'm trying to get my career on board. I'm trying to get my martial arts, you know, development there. Try and maintain good relations with my family, right? Like, you know, I'm trying my best sometimes to make my life something that's worthwhile looking at, from the outside and within, of course. Because you can't just do nothing, man. You can't just, you know, even when I'm serving God, even when I'm praying to God, it's like even God will sometimes communicate through me and be like, you know, you can't just pray to me, mate. Like, I like that. You know, there's been times where I've been praying my butt off to God. Sorry, that's a bit of a extremity or an obscenity, but there's been times when I've been praying my absolute cojones off, and I've actually had the calling or the push or the whatevers to go and do something human or worldly. And I was like, that doesn't make sense, God. Like, why should I do something worldly when you've called me to pray to you? And I didn't get an answer, but I think the intuition says, you're still a human. You're still a human. So you're still meant to do human things. And I'm sorry, but your body still has rights over you. This is from the Quran now. Your body still has rights over you. Which means, you know, you can't exactly like be this kind of superhuman, transcendent of my body being, though you certainly do not want to be mastered by it. You certainly do not want to be someone who's a slave to it either, because that's not going to be very helpful or useful to you, ever. So, you know, when it comes to the marriage thing, are you capable? It says this in the Quran. It says, those who are capable should get married, and those who do not or are not capable should fast and avert their gaze. It's capable, what is that? I don't know, I need to study it more, but my first instinct says capacity. Are you mentally and spiritually ready to lead a wife? Do you have a vision as to where you want to be in the future? Do you know where you're going? Because realistically, if God sends you one of his daughters, because he will if you're ready, I think. You know, if you're ready, I think you will be sent one of his daughters to nurture and look after and guide and lead, direct in a partnership that is going somewhere heavenly. You know, some kind of form of paradisical vision. This woman is joining you on that. Do you have that? And that can only come from God, bro. Oh, I'm single, I want to just get married. Okay, yeah, that's human. That's fine. But what's your relationship like with God? Because without God, you ain't leading nobody. You ain't leading your family. Spiritually, I'm talking. But I mean, even financially. You ain't going to be leading nobody without God. If your relationship with God ain't like that, you ain't going to be leading her. You know, and don't get me wrong, the devil is a fearful creature, right? He wants you to be in fear. So, you know, you might be praying and saying, right, you know, I'm getting 100% with God. I'm getting 100% with God, man. I'm doubling down on this. Me and God, we're tight. And then the devil will come and say, bro, you're going to be a celibate your whole life, man. You might as well chase this woman. And you're going to be like, oh, I got to do it, man. Remember, the devil is a creature of haste. And they will always try and get you to make the hasty and the quick and the easy and the fast and the flashy option. He'll never, ever, ever say to delay gratification. He'll always say to get it now. So I'm not saying that's like a law, rule of law, but it's generally speaking, Satan is someone who wants you to make an action out of fear and, craving and despair, right? Like, God's never one that says, God's an easy, restful, peaceful, graceful, definitive and conviction. Though I just said words. I just said words there. He's someone who has conviction behind the way he does things. So when you do something through God, or when God does something through you, it's going to be magnanimous, right? It's going to be something graceful. It's going to be something out of control, done under control, and a giving and a loving spirit. It won't be done out of this spirit of, I must get. That's Gollum, that's Satan, that's not God, man. So I'm talking to myself really when it comes to this chick, like, yeah, you like someone, man. You've got to make an effort to get to know them, of course. And if you've got a desire and urge to want to get to know them, honor it. Don't necessarily suppress that. But just understand it's got to be done under God's supervision. Which is why I kind of told every single person I know about it. Because I was like, I need this to be done under God's supervision and not my own. Because I don't want to go on the off track or the beaten track, so to speak. And like, that's what happened. So I'll say the same thing on your end as well. Is that if you're on this dilemma, pray, ask for guidance, get guidance. Pray to God for the guidance that you need. And make sure the decision, whatever happens, is done from a place of giving and love, and not a place of, despair and craving and whatever. Anyway, I'm talking. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But like, marriage is a responsibility. It's not something like, I don't believe in girlfriend-boyfriend relationship, bro. I never have. Maybe that's why I'm single. I never have believed in it, because I thought you're just about satisfying your own lusts, and I don't believe in that. I mean, even though I have my lusts, I've been a prisoner of my own lusts for years. I'm not going to go into my past sins, because you don't do that, but let's just say I was very, very, very sinful. And I was away from God in those years, and I was in a place of absolute hopelessness because of my following of my lusts. Yeah, because lust is one of those things that just keeps going. It doesn't end. It just keeps going, man. It just takes you over, and it literally is a demon, and it has its way with you. And it possesses you, and it wants to take everything you've got. And then it's going to have its way with you, and then it's going to throw you out like a used bag. And then you're like, what do I do now? What do I do now? Like, you're going to crave more of that. You're going to want more of that. You're going to desire more of that. That's where you're going to end up. Not a very happy place, in my not so humble opinion. But yeah, anyway, that's what I wanted to say, man. You want to get married, that's cool, bro. Like, just remember though, it's a responsibility. Like my brother, bless my brother a million times. Thank you, God, for my brother, because he's the wise man who kind of like instructed me in this kind of line of thinking a little bit, where he said, like, bro, at the end of the day, this girl, whatever, like she's a young woman, and she's at that age, they're very, very influenceable. They're very innocent, they're very influenceable, they're very, this and that and the other, and you're in a position of responsibility here. Like, you need to make sure that you're in sharp shape, man, that you've got your kind of bad habits down pat, you're on your purpose and your mission. You're able to take this person and you're able to, really, lead them to a better place in their life and life in general. And unless you're doing that with yourself, which by the way can only be done with God, then you're going to be in a wicky place, aren't you, mate? Whiskers. Oh, I remember making calls to these guys when I worked in sales. Whiskers LLP. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Little video, little talk about marriage. Why should you listen to me? I'm not married, but I am considering it. I'm considering it, yeah. But I am considering it from the perspective of, bro, what do you have to offer? Like, oh, I just want to get married. Well, bro, why should she be with you? Good question to ask, right? Like, it's an uncomfortable question, and it's definitely going to make you a little bit uncomfortable. But, you know, like the gym, like martial arts, you ain't going to grow if you're not uncomfortable. And the popular psychology lie, which is, I got to feel good all the time, bro. I got to feel good all the time, is a lie. Because, I mean, some of the best moments in my life have come from me feeling like absolute shit. So, you know, when I'm feeling good, I'm grateful. But when I feel bad, I also feel grateful. Now, try to anyway. Because I know that it's the Lord Almighty putting me through a pressure test to make me someone who He wants me to be, which is great, which is awesome, because He knows best. You know, as the Quran says, Allah knows best. Allah is the best of planners. Allah is the all-knowing and the almighty. So I'm not going to argue with Him because He knows best. He's my creator, and I'm trying to be humble enough to accept that. You know, I don't always succeed. And, you know, He will be the one that says, hey, bro, are you ready, man? You know, like, I'm going to give you one of my daughters. You ready to take care of her? If you really, really want to be, though, I will make you ready, but you better be prepared for some pain. You know, do you want to be ready? Do you want to be ready to the point where you want to die? Then you will see, my friend, the work begin to take place within you. Of course, with your consent, right? Free will and all that. But God will show you the work. He will give you the work. And you will have to work. And you better be ready for the work. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.